Dragging himself out of the office, Naoki the salesman groaned and hobbled his way home. With a weary face, he commented to himself how the day was yet another day of crazy overtime, and his exhaustion was clear to see. Naoki questioned how long he must continue on like this, before listing off all the issues he was suffering at this time, all the while he kept trudging onwards. But his moaning was interrupted when he noticed that the floor was different than the concrete he was once standing on, and he looked around to find himself somewhere unusual. Realizing that he was lost, Naoki began to search for somewhere familiar, until an unusual vibe caused him to walk towards a nearby door, and once he knocked on it, he found a pair of knockers that were in his face as a thick elf had opened the door. Naoki was blown away by the elf's beauty, believing that she was actually a foreigner, and thought that if she's a waitress, a cup of tea from her might solve his problems. He found her ears pretty, but thought that they weren't real and asked the elf if it was a cosplay cafe. However, his question was ignored as the elf began to dote on him, shooting rapid-fire questions at him. The elf, Formani, embraced Naoki, while he explained that he was lost and just wants to find a way back to the main street. But once again, he was ignored, as Formani explained that he's in a haven from the human world and he should stay here until he has recovered from his woes. Naoki was happily surprised by Formani's hug, still not believing that she was a real elf. Seeing that her embrace helped already, Formani invited Naoki in for more recuperation. Naoki questioned Formani, wanting to know what this place is if it's not a cosplay cafe. Formani explained that it's a daycare for elven children, but also a place of protection for strays that come from the human world. Entering the main room, the pair saw another elf with dark skin, eyes and hair. She questioned Formani about Naoki, and Formani told Leda, the dark elf, that Naoki was a stray human from the other realm. Leda commented that Naoki must be having a tricky time with all this, but she wanted to know what his name and age was. Naoki told them his name and that he was 30, shocking the elves, who began to treat him like he's a baby, as they knew ages related to elven lifespans. Formani then offered Naoki a lap pillow, to which he hesitated to take, questioning if she was being serious. Leda reassured him, taking off his coat while ushering him forward. He hesitated, but accepted. He thought that this could be a scam, as it was too good to be true, but as soon as his head touched her thighs, he began to melt and his stress left him completely. Drowning in bliss, Naoki thought about how he's never been pampered, but the pampering he's receiving right now is similar to the days of when worries didn't exist and only happiness surrounded him. Opening his eyes, Naoki looked around and found that it was morning and he was back on the main street where he originally was walking home. He questioned if it was all a dream, but the feeling of protection and confidence still resided within him. No longer caring if it was a dream or not, he decided to do his best for Leda and Formani, and marched forward confidently. What he didn't see was the pair of elves were watching him from around the corner, silently wishing him well and good fortune.